When most people think of England, they think of tea, cake, pints of ale, sausage rolls, red telephone boxes, and Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. England, and of course the rest of Britain, has a rich history irrevocably tied up in our long-established monarchy. But what if this wasn't so? Hello and welcome back to Life's Biggest Questions. I'm Rebecca Felgate, and today I am asking, what if England never had a monarchy? Since the beginning of civilization, pretty much all clans, tribes, groups, people have had some kind of class or hierarchy system. Kings and queens were not an English invention, but a social phenomenon across most developing nations. Emperors and empresses, sheikhs, pharaohs, sultans, czars, whatever name you want to give a leader, there were always leaders. First came regional rulers, then the first king of all of England was Athelstan in 927. The creation of a monarchy is tied up with another complicated force, religion. Monarchs tended to believe that they were the ruler of their people at the appointment of God, making them a stronger force than just a human alone, a wise move for consolidating power and making a leader seem untouchable. A lot of the laws and customs were set and enforced by the rulers of the land, making the monarch into a feared figure. Without a monarch, perhaps in the days when kings and queens ruled by sole decree, people would have felt freer, but society may have been more lawless. I wonder whether this would have destroyed the class system. Eventually, as average people became more intelligent, they realized that sole rulers were sometimes a bad idea and that they needed to regulate them in the form of governments. The first English government was formed after the Mad King John abused his power. If monarchs were a necessary part of early development, the first chance to properly get rid of them came from Oliver Cromwell, who briefly abolished the monarchy in 1649, although a king was back on the throne 11 years later, again out of the need for a divine leader. This is the first historical point that I can see England being strong enough to continue without a monarchy. I feel up until that point, a royal leader was inevitable. So rather than never having a crown, let's pretend that England never had one from 1649. And yes, things would be different. For one, I'm not convinced Britain's overseas colonial pursuits would have been as fruitful. Colonies were obtained in the name of the crown, with a divine leader a lot easier to fight wars and steal land for than a parliament. Had countries never been colonized and their resources plundered, perhaps their economies would be bigger today. A lot of places in the world would have different names had there been no monarchy. For example, Virginia was named as such after the Virgin Queen Elizabeth, Georgia was named after King George II, Maryland was named after King Charles's first wife, Queenstown, New Zealand, pretty much all places called Victoria across the world, including Victoria Falls, so many of these places would have different names. Of course, the Commonwealth as we know it today wouldn't exist, but to be honest, perhaps neither would America as we know it, seeing as the British Crown had such an effect on the landmass and its people. That being said, France dispensed of their monarchy and was still huge colonists, so maybe everything would have been exactly the same. We just don't know. It is no coincidence that the strength of the English and British monarchy has unraveled at the same speed as the strength of religion, with the pair somewhat tied up in one another's history. The need for religion and the need for a monarchy were at their strongest points when people were less enlightened and needed to be told what to do and what to believe and who to respect in order for society to work. These days, almost every single person in England and the rest of the UK is capable of reading and writing and thinking for themselves, which also means they can make informed decisions about their own future and utilize their right to vote for and elect a leader. Some say after Queen Elizabeth II dies, a referendum will be held as to whether we should abolish the monarchy of England. So England and the rest of the UK and the Commonwealth may gain a flavour for the answer to this question in the future. Who knows what great historical figures will grace our money then? There are of course great things that have come from the crown. The most important for England perhaps is a sense of national pride. Having a monarchy got us through hard times such as the World Wars, and it shaped the cultural landscape we know today. It gave us someone to drink to and someone to care about. Kings and queens were our earliest celebrities. The crown is so tied up in our history that separating history from it is nigh on impossible. All we know is a monarch, and without one, it will truly be the end of an era on so many levels. So that was a difficult question to think about. As always, with huge, sweeping historical questions impossible to solve in 5 minutes, I would love it if you could continue the discussion in the comments section down below. Let me know what you think the world would be like if England never had a monarchy. Thank you guys for tuning in to Life's Biggest Questions. If you guys like our channel, then please do make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on. Click that bell. Dong. That was me making the sound of the bell when you click it. I wish they had a sound for thumbs up. I'm Rebecca Felgate. I'll catch you guys in the next video. For now, remember to stay curious, stay alert, and never ever stop questioning.